morning, folks. Wasn't sure I was gonna do anything today, but I saw this congestion and thought, why not make it interesting? This is the same road I take home from the airport, but on the northbound side, which I don't know that I've captured often. We've got closures, we've got obviously reduced speeds, a solid lane line. I know I've touched on this topic in the past, but anytime you have revised lane lines, it causes problems for people who know the road. I always say know the road. Well, what happens when the road you know isn't that road anymore, temporarily? Your complacency causes accidents because you have the muscle memory of making the turns when you do and not paying attention. You think you're safe to get on your phone, and what happens? Well, the road jogs over. And it's even worse when you have faded lane lines from the old lanes that they tried to remove but couldn't, and then they put the other paint down and you can't tell, and then that paint fades and you can't tell which is the one you're supposed to follow. I've seen a lot of oversized commercial vehicle type accidents come out of those situations. Now, are they necessarily the ones at fault? They're certainly more likely to cause a lane encroachment than a smaller one. Two kinds of congestion today. My nose and this road. Well, I've done the math, sort of, and my blathering has reached almost 100,000 people across platforms, and I think that's pretty special. I remember the first time one of my reels got 10,000 views, and it's a new feeling for me. If you're a young woman, it's probably not, because if you wanted to go public, show yourself in a swimsuit, you're going to get 1 million people pretty quickly. You don't even need to know English to appreciate the content, if you will. but I don't got that. So for the ideas to speak for themselves, for the content to reach other people, that's what it's all about. I don't really want. There's a lot of things I could do to boost following. I'm not interested in doing that. I actually got a good idea, and the good idea was to make this a sort of non-profit messaging service. We go through different practices and talk about them and sort of have an educational mission. And I think I'm on board with that. I don't know if it's worth the hassle that comes from incorporating and all of that, but it's something that I'm thinking about pretty seriously, and as this proofs itself further along, it could be a pretty sensible thing. So that's an idea. Congestion cleared out pretty quick. So the last time, I think I captured a run to the airport, I ended up being 2 hours early for boarding. And I was disappointed at the time change that confused me, or my clock was not set right on my car. So I went to go vote, and I'm on my way to the airport. And what do you know? Hang on over. My clock after I voted, my wife was saying, "Come back home, you have time." And I didn't agree. After I get in the car, I look down at my clock and I think, I'd have to turn around and leave as soon as I got back. Pretty much. Well, no, that's not the case, but this time I don't have that luxury. I'm not cruising at a healthy margin of time. Why is that significant? Well, today is a Tuesday. Tuesdays are often some of the busiest flying days for one reason only, and that is they're known for having the cheapest tickets of all the days of the week. Wednesday, long weekends. Thursday, long weekends. Weekends. Monday, end of long weekends. You got Tuesday. The volume and demand is simply not there for Tuesdays. It's also the most productive day of the week, statistically, for most people. Monday's out of the way, Tuesday's. What does that mean? It means the security lines could be long. And long in the kind of way that's not good, because if you're shopping for your ticket based on price, maybe you don't know your way through the airport as well. Maybe you don't fly as much. The good news is maybe you don't have TSA pre-check. Unfortunately, TSA pre-check has become popular. It's become so popular that they're now selling a service called Clear to cut the TSA pre-check line. And let me tell you, I don't like those people very much. I know plenty of people who are in it. I like the people. I don't like the service and the way that it cuts the line. So you're in line. Sometimes TSA's backed up. We've all paid a fee, a modest fee, I should say, to have this expedited screening. You get up there, finally, especially on a busy day, like Mondays, Tuesdays. Get up there. Oh, back off, sir. The Clear people are coming through. And it's not often one person. It's like a group of 5 people or something. And they're all going through, and they gum up the x-ray line. They hijack your agent. So you can pick, a couple of different agents. And if you pick the one that the Clear people are using, you're hosed. In terms of waiting. But it's a kind of, what's the word? It's otherizing a little bit. Wow, we got something going on here. I've seen cars darting right. Now I see them darting left. I have no idea what I should do. The tow truck's got a little higher view. He's not moving. Semi-trucks, they're not. Now, when I say old-fashioned zippering, I don't mean run up on the line like that, like those people are doing. Anyways, am I against Clear? No. Could I be a customer someday? Yeah. But I just wish they found a more tactful way to go through security. That's all. What is the deal here? Yep, I think the title of this will be Congestion. This guy's getting over, put on a turn signal with generous warning. That's the kind of thing you want to see. I imagine that car is probably, and honestly, the light was pretty prominent, which is rare these days. The turn signals are getting smaller, headlights are getting smaller. Everything is about small. It's about, if we reduce the size of the filament in the bulb, then the fuel economy might go up a little bit. It's pretty sad. And I know I've gone on my rants about the brightness of automotive lights, but it's a big issue. They're just not as bright as they should be, let alone from the plastic shell degradation, which dims the light. It's a two-front battle in engineering and component quality. And the result is less visibility for the vehicles, which causes crashes. Oh boy. Does it get better? Some people drive this every day. That must be rotten. It's 8:45. Yeah, I'm going to be cutting it close. And that's what happens. You know, I get these good boarding positions. And then guess what? I'm not even going to make it to board with that group. What bothers me a little bit more, though, is I had a piece of paper for my parking that I always put in the passenger seat beside me so I can hand it to the parking attendant. I get in the car and I've been driving and the paper's not here. And I don't know what happened to it. I always take it out to the car, set it on the passenger seat. If I don't have that, they scan a barcode on it, it's a whole thing. I'm going to have to get my phone out and find it and hope I still have it. It gets booked so long ago, the email may not even be in my phone anymore because it cuts off. We could have some issues today. And if the shuttles aren't running right, I mean, I really could miss boarding. This is a possibility. And I didn't even factor traffic in my concerns, which clearly something about. Missing planes don't bother me, but the failure to optimize bothers me. Being in stop-and-go traffic where someone could rear end me bothers me. This is so much traffic. We have a lot of lanes, 1, 2, 3, at least 3, 4 through lanes, and it's all full. Hey, good news. I'm getting off in a mile. That is great news. It's going to be a long 1 3/4, but there's the end in sight, y'all. If I can just get over. Help me get over. Help me get over. More people are going to try to get over. Okay. See, even I did not run my signal for as long as that Nissan did earlier. I just kind of click it and, you know, it wasn't a great turn signal. But I also think my intentions were signaled in other ways, like moving over into the lane and all that. Well, if there's anything good out of this, we get to see a close-up view of this Veterans Day flag presentation over here that we zoomed by a week or so ago. And it's outside of Dick's Sporting Goods, I just noticed. A little sponsorship for them. It does not look like a fun hillside to go about doing any kind of work. It's a pretty steep grade over here. That's a worker safety issue for sure for whoever put those flags in the ground. But pretty cool. All right, 3/4 of a mile done, 1 more mile, and I'm off this road. It can't get any worse, right? It cannot get any worse. It just can't. The 635, don't get me wrong, it's a nice wide road, but I've seen a lot of reports of fatalities on that road. And I don't know why that is, but it seemed like every time I had my radio on, I would hear something about a fatal crash on 635. I'm thinking, how? It's not very curvy. It's a nice, wide, flat road. And I really enjoyed driving it the first few times I did. It would be me and my big pickup truck. I used to have a truck. And I would just sit back in the truck and hold the wheel. And I said, man, this road is all right by me. But other people have not had a great experience, obviously. Made myself a fruit bowl today, which I ate at the start of the drive. I didn't want to be munching and talking, but it was a good little fruit bowl. It had grapes and strawberries and apples. Cut up at one apple. I got rid of all the core and the strawberry tops so that they wouldn't be rotting in the car going up to the airport. I did think, this is going to give me a stomach ache, and it kind of did. Soaked a bunch of strawberries in water, and the water turned brown. Gives you an idea of necessarily what you're eating. I always rinse them off. Yikes. Okay, we're on a road that moves. It's 10 to 9. I think we're going to be okay. It is pretty amateur that I don't have this parking sheet. I can stop and get it. Get out and get it. Assuming I still have it in my briefcase. I remember taking it off the paper clip. But I was in my office, my home office, and I thought, well, something, I might have actually put it right back on the paper clip. I don't know. This is amateur.